Atlantis. Just the name makes you think of a grand city, swallowed up by the sea. It's a story that has fascinated people for ages. But where did this story come from? Our journey starts with a Greek philosopher named Plato. Over 2,000 years ago, he wrote about Atlantis. He described it as a mighty and advanced island nation that disappeared a long time ago. Was Atlantis real or just a story? It's a question that has puzzled historians and dreamers for centuries. Plato's writings are all we have to understand this lost world. He describes a utopia, a perfect society, more advanced than any other during his time, but he also tells a tale of warning. Atlantis, despite its beauty and splendor, fell from grace. The Atlanteans, once favored by the gods, became greedy and corrupt. Their arrogance led to their downfall, and the once great island was lost beneath the waves. The story of Atlantis reminds us that even the strongest civilizations can crumble. Plato tells us that Atlantis was located beyond the Pillars of Hercules. Today we call this place the Strait of Gibraltar, the gateway between the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. Atlantis, according to Plato, was an island even bigger than ancient Libya and Asia Minor combined. He describes a city of rings, some made of land and some of water, all connected by canals and bridges. At the heart of the city was a magnificent temple dedicated to Poseidon, the god of the sea. Plato tells us the Atlanteans were master builders and engineers. They built palaces, temples, and harbours of amazing beauty and complexity. They even had a system of canals that allowed ships to sail right into the heart of the city. The grandeur of Atlantis, as described by Plato, is almost impossible to imagine. Who were these Atlanteans? Plato describes them as a sophisticated people with a complex society. He describes a society that valued wisdom, art, and military skill. The Atlanteans were ruled by a system of kings and an elite council. They followed a code of law said to have been carved into pillars of orichalcum, a legendary metal. Atlantis, in its prime, was a bustling centre of trade. Its ships sailed far and wide, bringing back riches and knowledge from distant lands. The Atlanteans were skilled in astronomy, mathematics and philosophy. They were also said to possess advanced technology, far beyond anything known in Plato's time. They had weapons of unimaginable power, and some believe they even harnessed the energy of crystals. Legend has it that the god Poseidon created the Atlanteans. He fell in love with a human woman named Clito and built her a palace on the highest point of the island. This palace became the center of Atlantis, and Clito gave birth to Poseidon's 5 sets of twins. These children became the first 10 kings of Atlantis. The island was divided into 10 kingdoms, each ruled by a descendant of Poseidon. Under the wise rule of these kings, Atlantis prospered. Its people lived in peace and harmony, and the island became a shining example of civilization. For generations, the Atlanteans lived in this paradise, their power and influence growing with each passing year. Plato claimed the Atlanteans were masters of technology. They harnessed a mysterious energy source that powered their cities and machines. This energy, sometimes described as crystals, allowed them to achieve incredible things. Imagine a society that could harness the wind and the waves, that could light their cities with an unseen power. Some believed they had flying machines and could even control the weather. The Atlanteans, in their pursuit of knowledge, may have stumbled upon secrets lost to us today. Their technology, if it existed, could have been the key to their incredible power, but it could also have been their undoing. But the fate of Atlantis was not to last. Plato tells us that the Atlanteans, corrupted by their power and wealth, became greedy and warlike. They turned their backs on the gods and began to conquer other lands. Their ambition knew no bounds, and their lust for power led them down a dark path. The gods, angered by their arrogance, decided to punish the Atlanteans. A cataclysmic event, perhaps an earthquake, a volcanic eruption or a massive tsunami, was unleashed upon the island. The earth shook, the seas raged, and the sky turned black as night. This was no ordinary natural disaster, it was the wrath of the gods. The once great island of Atlantis was torn apart. The sea surged over the land, swallowing palaces and temples whole. The people of Atlantis, caught in the cataclysm, perished beneath the waves. In a single day and night, the mighty civilization was no more, lost to the depths of the ocean. The disappearance of Atlantis was so complete that it was as if it had never existed. All that remained were whispers of a lost paradise and a warning about the dangers of pride and ambition. The story of Atlantis serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the greatest civilizations are not immune to the forces of nature or the consequences of their own actions. Was Atlantis a real place, or was it just a story? Some believe that Plato based Atlantis on a real civilization, perhaps the Minoan civilization on the island of Crete. The Minoans were a powerful seafaring people who flourished in the Mediterranean thousands of years ago. Like the Atlanteans, their civilization vanished abruptly, possibly due to a volcanic eruption on the nearby island of Thera, which we now call Santorini. Others point to natural disasters like the destruction of Thera as possible inspiration for the Atlantis myth. Could a real-life cataclysm have inspired Plato's tale? The search for evidence of Atlantis continues to this day. Some researchers claim to have found submerged ruins off the coast of Bimini in the Bahamas, while others point to geological formations on the seabed that could be evidence of a lost civilization. Whether a real place or a philosophical allegory, the legend of Atlantis continues to fascinate us. It speaks to our sense of wonder and our fascination with lost civilizations. The idea that a technologically advanced civilization could have existed in the distant past, only to be lost to the sea, captures the imagination. The story of Atlantis has inspired countless books, films, and works of art. It continues to fuel our curiosity about the unknown and our desire to uncover the secrets of the past. The search for Atlantis is a search for a part of ourselves, for a lost chapter in human history. And so, the legend lives on, a testament to the enduring power of storytelling and our eternal fascination with the mysteries of the deep.